Hey everyone, today I've got The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 1, Disney Plus review. I see you, Disney Plus. New season of The Mandalorian out? No problem. Now, I will say this, there may be potential spoilers ahead, so you've been warned if you haven't already checked out this series. And if not and you don't care, then definitely continue watching this video. The Mandalorian and the child, aka Baby Yoda, continue on this journey to hopefully be reunited with its own kind. But are the events in this week's episode worth the wait? So as far as the story goes, Jon Favreau returns to direct the first episode of the new season. And we first see Mando and the child headed somewhere, and he goes to this place where there's this cage fight going on, and the lighting is totally boxer movie worthy. And Mando meets up with someone played by John Leguizamo, who, by the way, I had no idea was going to be in this series, and he may know the whereabouts of other Mandalorians that also the Mandalorian is, trying to locate as well. But things get crazy and Baby Yoda does something cute. But I seem to focus more on the music choice that's happening in the background. And in this particular scene, it just makes everything look so badass. And then my jaw dropped from something that I did not see coming literally right after this. So I was just like, I kind of always loved when this series is sort of unpredictable, and yet when it does things, it's not just for the shock value, but the end result actually pays off. And Mando goes to Tatooine, and it does feel like this Wild Wild West out there again. And obviously I've felt that way before in other Star Wars movies. But this time, it is blatantly obvious that it looks just like that. So I was really impressed with how the way that the setup and the build-up to, that moment just really, made it all worthwhile. So as far as the casting goes, obviously we've got Pedro Pascal returning to play the Mandalorian, and he's back and better than ever. I actually think I like him this time around because I've gotten used to the fact that he not only still has to protect Baby Yoda and take names, and I don't mean just the bounties, he also does something that I did not expect when he is in some gorge, which is kind of like, something out of The Lion King, and he certainly has a talent tongue. And he meets up with Timothy Olyphant's character, who plays this character called Cobb Vanth, and he is wearing this, Mando type of suit, which didn't actually belong to him, but, I honestly didn't also know he was going to be in this show, so it'd be really cool to see him in any more episodes after this. But I really liked their, back and forth conversations, and I really felt like he being in this episode really suited him, even though he's intense and hilarious at the same time. Think his Once Upon a Time in Hollywood character. And of course, I love Amy Sedaris, who is back to fawn over Baby Yoda. So cute. But I definitely hope to see more of her later on in the series if Mando decides to, give her a visit. And of course, she would probably still miss Baby Yoda once again, and she just needs some companionship. The things that I liked about this series was that this episode was that the camera work right off the bat, and how it makes the characters look intimidating, and it creates this intense environment that is already ravished by a Sarlacc. And if you saw The Return of the Jedi, you know what I'm referring to. And the cinematography in general just looks so beautiful once again. So I really love that consistency here with this series. And I love the reference to the second Death Star being blown up, and how they were sort of dealing with this, aftermath of everything. And when Mando works with the Tusken Raiders, because they're in the area, and it's so surprising considering that every time we saw a Tusken Raider, they were always kind of like mean and aggressive, and of course he can speak their sign language, so, you know, it kind of works out in his favor, and anybody that he's with, you know, trying to, you know, all get along, and I just love this sort of like campfire scene, and the scene with the banthas definitely made my heart race, and I'm really glad that this episode was almost twice as long as the first season's pilot episode, because I feel like we really got to see more, and I hope that these episodes continue on this path of being, you know, at least this runtime, because I know I always get really anxious every week when I'm you know, watching an episode, then I'm like, oh man, that was so short, I want to see more. And of course I want to see more Baby Yoda too. Of course, speaking of Baby Yoda, I love how he just looks at everything, and how he's just so curious about everything going on, even though I would like to see his powers still, you know, form. The final act of the episode was so cool, because it was like preparing for a Middle Ages battle, but with these sci-fi elements, and it was like the best of both worlds. And it was awesome to see Mando taking on a certain creature, and the final shot of the episode is one that I feel like a lot of people are going to be discussing, at least until next Friday, because I wonder how they will delve into the return of Boba Fett. Yes, he is back. Tamara Morrison is back as this character who apparently is now confirmed to have survived the Sarlacc pit and falling in it in Return of the Jedi. And I just can't wait to hopefully see a Mando versus Boba fight or a confrontation in the future. I think that'll just be so cool. So, yeah, I can't wait. What do you think, Baby Yoda? Do you, look forward to episode 2 as much as I do? So overall, I would say that I really enjoyed watching this first episode. Of course, I probably hyped it up way too much, but I'm really glad that I did, because it was worth it to see in the end. So I would highly recommend seeing this episode, this series in general. I can't wait to see where it goes. So I would give this 5 hearts on the heart rate scale. So let me know in the comments what you guys thought of The Mandalorian Season 2 Episode 1. And as always, you guys can subscribe to my channel. I've got movie reviews, movie updates, come back every week for a Trail Thursday video. You guys can also like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you guys later.